Yo, what is up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about traits in Throne and Liberty. One of the more confusing systems as far as gearing goes in the game, or how you progress your character at in-game in Throne and Liberty. I kind of want to put this out here, make sure that it's all a lot easier to understand, because once you know what's going on in the system and kind of process how you add traits to gear, it becomes a lot more I think digestible or less intimidating as a player. So I want to make sure I put this out for you. So basically, traits, like, you may ask me, what is a trait, to begin the video? Well, a trait on your piece of gear is simply listed under trait on your gear. It's underneath the base attributes. So this particular item has a magic evasion as a trait. This one has magic evasion as a trait. This weapon has critical hit chance. And you can see under traits, under the base properties of the weapon, the base attributes of a weapon. So basically, these traits can be unlocked, and they can be changed, and they can be leveled up. Okay, so those are basically the three things, or the three ways in which you can manipulate these traits. So first, let's look at how we unlock the traits. Okay, there are three ways to unlock a trait. One is just find the item in which you want to add a trait to. You have to find an identical copy of that item with the identical trait that you want to unlock on that item. So once you do that, say if I find the Hood of Resistance and I want melee evasion, I need to find the Hood of Resistance with melee evasion. Then I would go into the trait screen, which is period is your key binding on default. You go in here, I would click that Hood of Resistance to show up right here to unlock the perk with, and then bang, I get melee evasion on this item. And you may be asking, how do I know what traits are even on an item? Simply hit I, go to that item in your inventory, click on it, and then hit the trait list. So then you would see, melee evasion and max mana, pretty good for a healer. These are the traits that you can get. So basically, you would just click on the item that you want to trade out, and then look through what are the three traits I want, and then go find obviously where you get the item dropped from. Go farm it until you get the three traits that you want on there, and then you unlock them on the particular item, and bada bing, bada boom. You have three traits unlocked. The second way to unlock a trait is an extracted trait from the auction house. All traits on items can be extracted with this item, a trait extraction stone. Once you extract that, you can then merchant that item to other players, and you can also purchase them on the auction house with Lucent. Now, what was it? Hood of the Resistance? Hood of the Resistance. Here we go. So now I would just go on here and then purchase melee evasion. On blue gear, I would probably hold off on purchasing. I mean, if you're desperate to kind of unlock and get ahead of people, sure. But honestly, as far as what my recommendations are to even spend money or Lucent on, it would be unlocking traits on your and these are pretty expensive now. I'd even wait a little bit longer, but unlocking them on your epic gear, because it is hard to get these items to drop, especially initially anyways. So it will speed up the process a little bit if you're able to unlock those relatively quickly. If you want to use Lucent, I would use it on these extracted traits. Third and final way is to use trait unlock stones. Now, these trait unlock stones only work on epic gear, so on blue gear you're not going to use it. But obviously it can be extremely valuable to have, especially in the in-game gear with epic items such as weapons and things that are harder to get. So those are the three ways you unlock traits. Let's review this real quick. You find the exact item with the exact trait that you want to trait it with. And then for the example, here's the example. You find as another Hood of the Resistance with melee evasion. Okay, secondly, you buy an extracted trait from the auction house. So I would just go search up Hood of the Resistance and then buy the trait, the melee evasion trait from the auction house, and then apply it to this hood. And then thirdly, I use the trait unlock stones. This is only on epic gear. Now, it is important. There's like a weird gap in the game between like what would be like level 9 rare gear and getting leveling up epic gear, especially like this early in the game. So trading your blue gear is extremely viable as you kind of wait for what you would consider to be your BIS purple gear, because you don't want to just trade out any piece of gear. You want to make sure that this gear is something that you're going to use for a long time, and you want to make sure it's an item that again has all three perks available on there that you would want, like at in game anyway. So like for this particular instance, this glove I'm leveling up, but I don't plan on trading it out. I will just feed this into the purple gloves that I want, and then I will basically trade that particular piece of item out, if that makes sense. So but the video's not about that. It was about traits. We got to stay on point. Okay, so leveling a trait. Leveling a trait is a lot easier than unlocking a trait. When I say level a trait, I mean right now you can see we have 1 magic evasion out of 3 potential levels. Each level is worth the same, but obviously it stacks up on the same item, making your character's potential a lot higher if you can max out your perks. So to unlock magic evasion on this particular item, I simply just need to find any hood or any helmet in the game with magic evasion on it. And then once I do that, then I can basically apply that piece of I can apply that item in the period screen to the trait screen to increase magic evasion. Now, if you can even do this with lower quality items, but then it's a chance. It's a percentage of chance. Now, it is not a percent and then the item breaks. It is not a percent or nothing happens. It's a percent that basically will increase it will either unlock the item for you, it will increase the blessing on the item, which then increases your percent chance to use a lower quality of item to increase it in the future. So you never put an item into something and then get nothing in return, or worse, you break it in return. That just doesn't happen in the game. So I could use a green hood with magic evasion here, or a helmet, and then try to. It'll probably have like a 10% chance or something. If it fails, then I get 10% towards my next roll. So my next roll would be 20%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, until eventually you'll get 100% chance with a green, and then it'll just unlock. And if you're risky, if you want to be risky, you can use your blessing before that and roll like, oh, I want to roll a 60% roll. Now, if you fail that 60% roll, it does go back to 0. So I usually just wait until it's like 100%, just because, especially on purple gear, it is kind of like I just if I'm not gonna get it randomly, I just wait until it's 100 to get it. You know what I'm saying? So now this is the final kind of thing to speak on about traits. We already know how to unlock the traits. Now we know how to level them up. Thirdly, we want to, there are like these other caveats, which is like conversion stones. And we talked about this, I think a little bit, well, we didn't talk about this yet, but here is a trait unlock stone. Remember, these only work on unlocks, or on epics. Here is the trait extraction stone, the one that extracts the traits that allows you to sell on the auction house, or what the people that are using to get the traits on the auction house with. And then this is a trait conversion stone. This basically would allow you, like, say you get like a drop on this glove, right? And this is a good example because I don't want health regen on this glove. I could use the trait conversion stones on the same trait tab here. I could convert the trait selectively, which means I would basically be able to select what trait I want. This would cost me both trait unlock stones and trait conversion stones, or I could use the trait conversion stones and then randomly roll another trait on here as well. Now, again, sometimes this is your only option, right? You have to use you can use these trait conversion stones as you see fit. Obviously, if you're not using them on anything else, it's probably worth the risk. If you get a really good item, an item that you want, that's epic, that's rare, and you just, I don't want health regen on here, I could randomly roll it and then just hope I get one of the traits I do want, one of the 3 traits I do want, and then that saves me from having to get yet another drop of this thing, which again just saves a little bit of time, right? It just makes your character stronger faster. In the end, you'll eventually get the item to drop, just like with the traits, and not using the auction house. You're eventually going to get these items to drop with the traits that you want, and you're gonna have to get that drop 3 times with each of the 3 individual traits that you want on the item. But again, if you get the, like, say if I get melee evasion on this pair of gloves, and then I go and I'm trying to level up and get the other 2 traits, and I get melee evasion again, I simply just feed it in here. It'll level my melee evasion from level 1 to level 2, and it only took, because it's of equal quality, it only took just that 1 glove to level it up 1 time. So again, you know, farming isn't going to be, it's never going to be like fruitless if you're getting, you know, if you're getting the same glove, because you can either, again, use the trait to unlock a trait on the same pair of gloves, or you can level up the trait that you already have. If you get a trait you don't want, you can always extract it and sell it on the auction house for lucent, and then use that lucent to buy it and unlock a trait on the same piece of gear later. Okay, so I think that's about it on traits. Hopefully this was helpful. I do tend to ramble from time to time, sitting here talking to my camera alone, and I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? It's late. I have made a ton of progress on my character already. I'm looking forward to streaming more Throne and Liberty, and I'm basically in the trait phase of progression right now. I've gotten a couple really good drops that I'll eventually use on my, like I might use this glove, but I'm definitely using this 2 perk set, and then I obviously, this is Abyss Wand for me in PvP, so I'm happy that I finally got this, and I'm already got this up to level 7 as well. So yeah, this is me rambling. I don't know why I'm doing this at the end of the video. If you stuck with it this long, thank you. Appreciate it. You're a real one. I will link a written guide for this content as well. If you're more of a reader, if you want something to just have on your side menu and you don't want to keep listening to my annoying voice over and over and over again to get the point, there'll be a written guide as well. Check me out on Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays right now. Maybe more now that the game is actually out globally. But I'll definitely be streaming Monday, Wednesday, Fridays on Twitch, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, for those of you who like to be punctual. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.